My theory is the fact that the guy who wrote the movie, that spiritual chick, is an ex-girlfriend who did him wrong. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Megabit Misfits. And on this episode, we're going to talk about another movie, but it's a video game connected movie about horror, survival, and the decisions that you make within the movie choose your life and your friends' lives to be ended or continued. What are we talking about today? So please like, subscribe, comment, hit bell notification, the whole nine. And me and Lee will be back in 2 seconds after this intro.
We are talking movies again related to video games. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. 100%. And we both played the video game for this movie.
Well, hold on. Correction for the people that's watching. I did not play this game. I'm a big fan. Here's how good the game is. How you know that the game is excellent. Until Dawn is a PlayStation game that came out, and the follow-up was the Quarry. Now, Until Dawn is one of those games where you make like every choice matters, like a butterfly effect. So without knowing, if you do this, there may be good or bad consequences depending on your choices. Now, I never played this game, but again, this is how good the game is. I watched gameplay of it, literally, and I had popcorn and candy and I watched this like it was a film, bro. It came out early this year, and I felt like this movie didn't make no waves, like it went under the radar. You know what I mean? Like that's what made me think that the film was bad, but I didn't want no one to tell me anything about it. It was this. I love the game so much that I want to see this for myself. So when I heard it was coming out for Netflix, I couldn't wait to see it. You know what I mean? So it came out this year.
And the thing is that I just stumbled upon the movie. Like I heard of it when it was going to come in theaters, but I didn't really have an interest in it at the time. Because when I saw the trailer the first time, I was like, "Oh, this is not like the game," So I just kind of skipped. And then, silly me, I came across it like the other day. I had nothing to do. I think we were supposed to record that night, and then we were all like, "Oh yeah, we're tired. Let's leave it for tomorrow or the next day." Like, no problem. So I started watching. I started looking for something to watch for the day before I went to bed, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, Until Dawn on Netflix." Like, "Oh yeah, I never watched this. Let me check this out." It's like an hour and 40 minutes, an hour 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's an hour and 48 minutes, I believe. Yeah.
And I was like, I never watched this, whatever. And then, to my surprise, I really enjoyed it. Like I was just down for it. But for me, the two lead females were great. The girl with the curly hair that she was from Hellraiser, I love her in everything she does. Because one, she just has she's a beautiful girl, beautiful, great look, but she has that look of like a badass.
She has presence. Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah, she has
presence. Like as soon as you look at her, without even saying a word, you can tell that she's gonna have like a prominent role in this film. She has presence.
You could tell she has the it factor. You know what I'm saying? So she has that thing that stands out amongst the rest. And then you had the other lead, which was the main lead, the girl, the sister. She did great. She did cool. She has an it factor as well, but not as strong as the other one.
Off the bat, when I saw the commercial, I kind of knew what I was getting into. And I think people that have seen the film or know about the game, they try to relate it to, they try to relate the film to the game. I don't think they was paying attention to the trailer. But with that being said, what is your take on what you saw with this movie?
How, like you said, from the trailer compared to the game, compared to what I actually saw, I was like, okay, this is not like the game, but it is like the game. You know what I mean? So it's not the same story and the same characters they give you in the video game at all. The actual characters in the movie are making their decisions, but they're figuring out what's going on, and they're watching this hourglass. And one girl kind of starts figuring little things out, and then the mayhem happens, where it's almost like a Groundhog's Day effect. You know what I mean? So the Groundhog's Day effect, if people don't know what the Groundhog's Day effect is when the day kind of keeps repeating itself. Well, so you have different options, so that way you can, if it repeats itself, you can change it up however you wish or however you think to get out of the situation you're in. and it's just constant failure for everybody here and there and blah blah blah. And the thing is, like, watching the movie, it's fun. The movie is fun to watch. It's not the best movie in the world. It's not the best acted. It's not the best designed or whatever. It's just fun. There are a couple of scenes though that we'll get into maybe a little later that I thought were absolute fire in the special effects department, because I was like, oh, like what the, and I was like, how do they do that? How do they do that? How do they do that? I kept watching I kept going back watching the scene that we'll talk about later. But I was just like, how the hell did they do it? It didn't look like special effects, like graphics, like a computer graphics. Maybe it's a mixture. I still haven't figured it out yet.
I enjoyed the film. When I saw the trailer, I knew exactly what I was getting into as far as like the story. But we'll get into that. Yes, it's not perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's not by any stretch of the imagination a perfect film, but it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun watching this film. You know what I mean? Because there were things in the film that I saw critics like really be hard and crucial about this film for, and I didn't think it was. I think it was unnecessary the way they judged the film, but we'll get into that. So let's talk about the story. What did you think of the overall story?
But yeah, this overall story with everybody and the characters, I liked those two main female leads. I thought really carried the movie, and one of them almost stole the movie from the other, even though it was following the other one. But yeah, the overall story was cool, and the villains and the clock was a great touch to how do you say reset the story from a certain point, so you can find a new way for everybody to continue dying. That's a gigantic spoiler, but everybody dies 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 times.
Can I segue into something while you say that? As far as you talking about the story,
if you want to cut that part out, if we edit that, we can cut that part out too.
Okay, that was the mechanic I was talking about. The mechanic I was talking about was how are we gonna do the butterfly effect from the video game to the film? You can't, because you got thousands upon millions of people watching this film. They take it home. If it's interactive, you could take it home and that on a DVD or something like that, or whatever, or a CD or a Blu-ray, whatever. You could do it in that format, but you can't do that in a featured film with audience members sitting there. Can't have them making choices on the spot. You know what I mean? That would be dope if you got like 5 seconds on a remote control and it changes. That would be dope. But in order for
a voting system,
yeah, right. But it would have to be like in 10 seconds. But damn, every time it come up, you have to vote. You know what I mean? But
well, you know, on Netflix had done something like that with another movie called Banner.
They did it with Black Mirror, the Bandersnatch. Yeah, Black Mirror. Yeah, but that's Netflix, and that's a service that you can do from the comfort of your home. If you're going out to IMAX and at the movie theater, you can't do that. So how they got around that was doing the loop, because it still gives you multiple branches and multiple choices, but not from our standpoint, but from the character's standpoint, because they have to be the ones to figure this whole thing out, because if not, it's going to continue to keep looping. And I thought that to me was a brilliant idea, because you wouldn't be able to do what you do in the video game in the film. So having it happen every night over and over in different scenarios, and that's what also was a good thing. The different changes up of the scenarios, like every night, even though you're trying to figure this out, it was never the same. It was always different. And to me, that to me was just a overbearing horror over the, the sequence. Because one night you got one dude chasing you, the dude with the mask on, right? Then you got some big joint that you can't. They're like, I bet, let's try to leave. Can't leave because there's something in the room. Like, yo, I love that entire thing, because, and remember when they tried to, and again, spoilers, they tried to hide in the bathroom. And to me, that's the scene. That's the scene that took me. Like, the whole movie was interesting, was cool. I was enjoying myself. The thing that really like I was like, okay, this movie is a banger, is because of the freaking bathroom scene and the way the spoilers. He drinks the water because they're all thirsty. They've already gone several nights. Right. They've already been murdered several times. They've already repeated whatever. He goes,
And he gets finds a cup, drinks some water, and he goes, whatever. So we're gonna lock ourselves in the bathroom. Just stay away. Does not go anywhere. And then all of a sudden the guy starts coughing, and they keep talking about how to figure out or whatever. And then, bro, when he just explode, pops, bust like a bubble or whatever the hell happened to him, he blew up. I was like, oh shit. I thought he was gonna cough up blood and maybe something was gonna come out of him or whatever. And no, he just blew up. And then the thing is, other people there drank the water, or one of the person drank the water. And then some of them were like, oh, it fell in my mouth. Some of the water fell in my mouth. Everybody's screaming, bugging out. They finally leave the bathroom.
So the bathroom scene you said is the one that got you, right?
Yeah.
So in that scene, I'm sitting there saying to myself, yo, if they just stay in here, they should be all right. Because I think a lot of times in horror films, because you know how I am, when it comes to like, when I watch certain films, I'm a realist to a certain point. I go, that wouldn't happen in real life. You know what I'm saying? Right. In a certain situation. When they locked themselves in the bathroom and the only way to get in was either through that small window or the door, I'm like, well, there's only two ways to get in here and y'all all together. And if y'all know everything's looping, if it's going to loop, hide out in the bathroom. What better way to camp out is to be right there. If old homeboy try to bust through the door, he's going to have to fight all y'all right there on the spot. He's not going to pick y'all off one by one.
So and he'll win anyway.
Huh?
He would have won anyway.
Probably win anyway because he's dumb strong. But I'm just saying that to me, that would have been better than trying to run around because you don't know what's out there. You don't know what is out there. And to me, that would have been your best bet because if y'all can hold him to just outside that door all night, you're great. But the point is
until dawn.
But the thing is that the water, they drunk that water and that threw their whole plan out the window. You know what I'm saying?
That was like genius because you're waiting for a while. You're going to be thirsty. You're in a bathroom.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Drink some water.
And another part of the story, when you mentioned the two girls is almost a callback to the original game, which started with the twin sisters who were sisters. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where one actually went out to go look for the other sister because they did a prank on her and she went to go run after her. So, like you said, the premise of the two sisters, you got the gang, the medium and all this other stuff. So the story, I was like, okay, I could see that being something somewhat related to the game. Then you have the night looping and stuff. And then the overall mystery on why is this happening? You know what I mean? Like that to me is where I was like, why is this happening? And I don't think that paid off. That was one of the things that, I felt like have you seen the alternate ending?
No, I didn't see the alternate ending.
Okay.
No, I did not see that.
I'm not going to spoil it to you, and I'm not going to spoil it to you. Okay. If you go and watch the alternate ending, it ties it together a lot better than what we saw as the ending for this film. And I said, even though I saw fans of, Until Dawn, the movie in the game say they like the theatrical ending. Me, I'm not a fan of that. I think because I want to know more about why all this is taking place and why is it happening? What's going on here? And I felt the alternate ending did that.
While watching the movie, the second I saw the guy at the gas station, I was like, got it. Like that, because he's the guy in the movie and in the game.
Yes.
Telling the story.
He's a therapist. He's the guy.
Yeah, he's a therapist.
Right. He's a therapist.
So he's like, very good. Find I don't know why they disappeared. The way he talks. And I was just like, it's the guy at the gas station.
I got a question for you. Here's a random question for you.
Random questions.
Did you not peep the fact that if they're caught in the loop, right? And they say if you don't get out of the loop, you become sucked into it. You know what I'm saying? Like you change into one of those Wendigos. Mm-hmm. That's right. Spoil it. Wendigos are in the film. So you become one of those Wendigos, or you become sucked into the environment of that place. How was he able to be at the gas station and at the other town over?
I think that when they the gas station is part of the town. So it's the only road that leads there, first of all. So if they're looking for the sister and they pop up, he'll choose what they want. I think the second she said,
Sorry, were you working here last year?
Last year and the year
and
before
the year
that,
before, and the year before, and the year before, and then the guy found the wall with all the not the wanted posters, the missing posters.
But here's the thing: he's out of town in the gas station, right? It's stuff, you know. Like I heard there's some crazy stuff. Is that he said, "Oh no, not here."
Do a lot of people go missing around here?
Here, no, but up the ways a bit in Clover Valley.
What was going on over there?
Right.
Another
He
thing,
did send her.
right? He did send her there. He sent her there. Second thing, remember when they were all holding hands? They were all holding hands, and after they did their little prayer circle, wherever the case may be, a truck goes by. Remember, they almost got hit by a car.
Oh, it was a Winnebago,
like a
mobile home.
Yeah, mobile home, one of them RVs. There you go.
Yeah,
it went by them, and it beep beep, and it. So my thing is, how is he in that town, but yet he's over in the other one, but he's part of the loop? And that bugged me about this film, that he was at the gas station, but he was also at the other town. And remember, when you get to the other town, they won't let you leave.
Right.
So how was he able to do that?
I don't know. Maybe he's the magical force behind it.
This is why I say go see the alternate ending, and it'll probably give you a it still doesn't answer that question. I'm gonna let you know that if you do see it.
He was the first Wendigo or something.
I'm not spoiling nothing. I'm not spoiling anything. All right, so we talked about the story. What about the visual effects? Because I know you know, as a person, go see my man on was it you got it on Tubi, right?
Actually, now it's now on YouTube now. Actually, now.
What? You can go check him out on you. My man has acting credits. He's over here.
I'm in a movie called The Cold Grave.
Okay.
Cold Grave.
As a person who's worked on a project in a film, what did you think of the visuals of this movie?
Great. Like they were really good. I've seen I have a few friends that I've met in real life, and we worked on a couple of things together. But I see how they're progressing in their careers as doing like horror makeup and like these makeup practical effects and stuff like that, and they just keep getting better and better and better. And so when I know the effort it takes for them to make stuff, then when I see a movie like this that has high budget, it had like millions of dollars or whatever, and they used it properly, because a lot of the special effects or practical effects were really impressive.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I keep going back to that blowing up scene. Like they had some cool effects. Like there was one where the tall, handsome boyfriend got chopped in half. That they stuck him to the wall and ripped away his body. I was like, oh shit! Like that looked great. I mean, it was horrible, but it looked, from a practical point of view, like a special effect, it looked great. And a lot of the scenes were just like blood was coming out of them, or the limbs were blowing up. And again, that poor spiritual young lady, the way she went out in that scene, I was
all right. Listen, you keep bringing it up. You want to talk about it?
Because hey, hit practical effects. I think that was the best practical effect in the movie. So this young girl, after the guy blows up in the bathroom, everybody bursts out of the bathroom because they don't know what the hell's going on, and blah blah blah. And two of the characters, actually no, one of the other girls blew up in the bathroom as well, right?
They all blew up.
But
they all drunk.
But the guy blew up first. The girl in the tub blew up in the tub, and they all like scattered out of the thing because or she got up to turn the water off or something, and she blew up in there. And they're like, oh, they got water on them now because only two of them drank. They bust out of the bathroom, if I remember correctly. Two of them kind of fall ahead, and then the spiritual girl kind of like lands in the middle of the floor, and she goes, oh my gosh, and she goes, and they go, like, get the hell away from me, like she's about to blow up. And then all of a sudden her leg just blows up, and then because she didn't drink the water directly, she just had some water land on her, and her leg blew up directly, and then her stomach inflated, like if she was pregnant, and then beyond some, and then when she went to her side, it blew up and jettisoned all the crap to the side. I was like, oh my God, that's disgusting and amazing at the same time. And then the rest of her went. They did that girl so dirty. So
I'm gonna touch on that, and we're gonna continue with the characters. But no, I'm talking about the visuals rather.
Oh yeah,
I gotta touch on this since you brought it up. You kind of jumped the gun, but I was gonna get to that later. But you was bringing it up now. She got it the worst. But everybody in the film, at every night, she got it. I don't know what that thing had on her. I don't know because she was a medium or not, or because she did, whatever. She got it the worst every single time. And every time I'm like, and the crazy thing about it is that as you're watching the film, you're thinking that everybody's getting it equally. It's like they are. But it's like, why did she? No, every night it was just worse for her. Worse, blowing up. They used that blowing the leg. This, that, and the third. She had to get possessed. Remember, she was doing a point. Then they
that was a cool scene,
out.
Yeah,
bro.
You want to know my theory behind why she got it the worst?
Here's mine. Before you give yours, let me give mine real quick.
Okay.
Right. I believe they were following the horror trope of the spiritual medium is the one that, they're the ones who are the most connected to spirit. So they're the ones that's the most dangerous. So I felt like it was strictly targeting her the most because it's like, you may figure it out before everyone else, but we don't want that. You know what I mean? That's just my logical way of thinking. But what you got?
Okay. So mine is a little bit more practical. My theory is the fact that the guy who wrote the movie, that spiritual chick, is an ex-girlfriend who did him wrong. And he is just killing this chick the worst possible way. Like, how can I
what?
How can I exploding water?
That's wild. Who would be that petty to do that? That's crazy.
And he made him money, probably. It made him some money.
She made her money. She agreed to it.
This is the actress. That's the actress.
Okay.
You know.
Besides all of that, I do agree with you with everything that you said as far as the visuals of this movie is concerned. I think the movie has great visuals. Since you brought up characters, you already brought up the medium. What about the rest of the people? I know we already spoke about the two main characters. How did you feel about the boyfriends? Let's move on to them because we spoke about the other ones already. What about the boyfriends in the film?
There's the tall one who was like very stale and boring, and then the annoying like super sensitive, over the top, like, oh, I want to protect you. They both. They were both horror fodder. That's what they were.
Okay.
They were just like don't get me wrong. I just don't. I mean, I like the one point where they let one character go run off, and this guy kind of helped her leave because, hey, the monsters want her, they don't want us. Open and goodbye, but you know what I'm saying. So he played a part. So he played an important part in that decision made in the movie that made everybody else look at him like he's a dick, and they were correct. And then he got stabbed.
Here's the crazy part. I'm glad you pointed him out as the boyfriend who wanted to dip on everybody.
Yeah,
I'm glad they didn't go that route because it was predictable. Because it was like. I felt like he was going to turn them in. I felt like he was going to be like, yo, I just want this night to be over. I don't care if they only, remember, he said only one of us got to die. You know what I'm saying? So it felt like he was giving off them vibes like he going to be the one to betray everybody because he's giving off that energy. And I'm so glad they did not go down that route. Even though, a lot of horror films tend to go down the route where it's the most, I want to say, believable, and then there's like some type of twist at the end of the film or something like that. But I'm so glad they didn't do that in this film. It's like they showed, I bet you can have that in your mind, my guy, but we're gonna let you know you try something, we just gonna kill you. It's gonna loop over for you, bro. It's more of us than it is you, so you can get that thought out of your head. But I like that they did that. And if you notice, he actually was trying, once that happened to him, once he got that in his brain and she did what she did, he got okay, maybe you're right. I shouldn't. I need to come off my high horse on that one. And I like the fact at the end of the film, while they all was laying around, we did it. Your man honked the horns like, yo, I'm not trying to stay here. Yo, let's get up out of here, bro. Like,
let's go.
Let's get out of here. You know what I mean? The other character, which is the ex-boyfriend, the sensitive one, I don't. Oh man, I mean, he did his job, right? He got to be sensitive. He has to be the simp and all of that, whatever the case may be. Like, no, I'm gonna go outside and get her after you saw this spirit or whatever. You didn't even see anything. It just grabbed her out the house, dragged her across the street. You think I'm gonna go out there? I'm gonna be like, yeah, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Peace.
Be like, yeah, okay.
I'll name one of my future kids after
not,
you. Maybe,
bro.
maybe
Not even. I'd be like, look, if we don't make it, we'll see you tomorrow when we restart this over. Cause, bro, I'm not going out there. Hell to the no, bro. The door opened. A force grabbed old homegirl. You don't even see it, and dragged her across the street. My best bet would have closed the door and be like, yo, look, worst case scenario, we'll just see her again tomorrow, right?
I mean, if she's the only one that it wanted, then they would have been freed.
I wouldn't have went out there. I said it was cool. I wouldn't have went out there. That would
I think that's what he pushed him. He goes, damn, if she dies, we're all free. But now we're all gonna be the one that let her die. Now we gotta get her because we'll try again. Let's go, guys. Yeah.
Okay, so
at least he continued the movie.
Hey, that's what happened, right? So we got the two boyfriends out the way. We already spoke about the medium chick who caught it the worst. We had the main character and the other character who pretty much stole the show. We talked about the guy from the game who's in the film himself. And now I want to touch on something. Getting back to the mechanics real quick. The clock. What did you think? What was your take on them using the loop system?
I mean, they kind of had no choice because they were figuring out little by little after every turn. Once they finally figured out, and I don't want to spoil that part. Once they finally figured out the things they had to do to escape, to get out, it took a couple more tries. So a couple more instances of really cool deaths. I thought overall I'm going to start off by saying I did not like the ending full blown.
Okay.
So how they got to the ending and they figured out XYZ to every time they had to repeat themselves and to actually escape and whatnot. I was like, okay, that's cool that you figured it out, but you shouldn't have been able to execute the plan to get out. At least not all of them. Yeah, the ending I didn't enjoy.
Okay.
It was. I think it could have hit harder if it was different.
Okay. All right.
I know.
My opinion of the film as far as like the plot device and mechanics, I felt like it did what it's supposed to do. I already spoke about that. It did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah,
but I think the setup. I believe that they were supposed to do with the whole looping stuff. To me, I think it was a good decision. I didn't like the fact that how they utilized it. Like I do like the different every night there was something different. I didn't like the fact that, to me, I don't think they did enough of exploring how to figure it out. Like, for example, the book. Remember in the book when they were writing down the names?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later when they figured out there's only 13 names in that. I would have been counted that. You know what I'm saying? And then I would have noticed in the book how the names, it starts off nice, but then as time goes on, the names are deteriorating. You know what I'm saying?
Because that's when the person starts turning into they start forgetting who they are.
Right. And the craziest thing is that's a callback to the video game, because remember when the sisters fell off the cliff, one of them did survive. And they turned into the Wendigo, and they had a book that they were writing in, and their writing kept changing. Like the writing was at first it was normal, and then as time went on, the writing was just incoherent. Okay. Yeah. And that was like, oh, that's such a nod back to the video game. But I think I didn't see them do enough clues. What they tried to do to fixed that for me, which, okay, I get it. They don't want to make the movie that long. Was when he had his cell phone and he found out, yo, I've been recording every night. Oh, snap. And you've seen the recordings of, like, they've been doing it for, this has been some days they've been going at this, trying to figure this out. But they did it in such like batch parts. Like, I actually want to see that play out. So I guess maybe the film director was like, I don't want to make this movie too long, so let's just make these sequences into something short and have it on
like
phone.
a montage.
Like a montage, right. But I felt like, to me, what they gave us wasn't enough figuring out how to do this. You know what I mean? Because remember when he was on the thing, he said, well, you can't stand around. Remember, that was the clue he gave them. You're not going to get this by standing around. You're not going to just figure this out. And I think they just took a shortcut route with that. They gave it to me, but I wanted more, you know, on that end.
Yeah, I mean, if the movie would have been like 2 hours and 10 minutes, I wouldn't have been bothered by that too much.
Because, it was, to me, it was, everything else happened was going fine.
Yeah.
You know,
the pacing, the acting, I enjoyed it. I think it's like if it was a different scenario, you know what I'm saying? Like if let's say this was a comedy, or let's say it was a drama with the loop system, because this was a horror movie, like a gruesome horror movie. It'll only work in a horror movie setting for me. Because if it's a comedy and they had to completely repeat a group of people, you'd have to be some funny ass fucking people in a group. You know what I mean? Like, I know they did a movie Groundhog's Day that with Bill Murray back in the day. It's like I think it's from the 80s or 90s. This movie is really old. And he had to repeat a day every single day, and I think they repeated it like 30 times or something. That he was learning how to become a kind person,
right? Because
he was a jerk in the beginning of the movie, and that was the whole reason for doing that, was so that way he can be a better person and treat people better. And you know, they taught the end of the thing of be kind to everyone, whatever, which is a good lesson and whatnot. But in this sense, them constantly repeating and dying, like, I don't think it would have worked in this day and age in any other genre except for horror.
Have you seen Marlon Wayne's movie? Marlon has a Netflix movie where he repeats the same day coming out of the elevator. Funny as hell. Dope ass movie. I've
never heard of them. He had a movie.
Yeah. Funny, real funny movie, man. And again, that all goes back to the Bill Murray Groundhog's Day movie. You're always going to see those type of things. But it works. It does nicely in horror films, though. There was one that came out a few years ago where it was on a birthday. You remember that one? It was a birthday film where it was the girl's birthday, and she was being stalked by this stalker. And every day she died, she would wake up back in her dorm room, and it was on her birthday.
I remember they made a part 2 to that.
Yes, no matter of fact, you are right. They did do a part 2 to that film. I think you're right. I think you're correct. So to wrap this up, give me your pros and your cons. Like what do you take away from the film that was good, and what are the things that bothered you with this film that made it go, I didn't like that? What's your pros and cons?
Of course, you guys already know my pros. Definitely the practical effects, and the 2 leading ladies. They were the strongest ones, especially the curly haired one from Hellraiser. Maybe we'll talk about if you see Hellraiser, the remake. We could talk about that movie later. But this one, I mean, I'm trying not to compare it to the video game, because the video game is completely different. It's its own entity. But they did show that, like, maybe after credit scene or before credit scene. Did you see that part of the movie
where a car pulls up to the cabin?
Yeah. And the cabin is in during the winter. Like, that's the video game. So if they make a part 2, hopefully they make a part 2, they're gonna follow a similar story to the video game, supposedly. But anyway, overall, the practical effects I thought were great. The 2 leading ladies, especially the curly haired girl, because she has that it factor. I did like the setup. The names in the book I thought was a great touch. It was a great lead in to like, hey, we have to do something like this to move forward. I like the witch across the street that popped out of nowhere. Be like, where the hell that house came from? Like, what's going on? It kind of reminded me a little bit of Nightmare on Elm Street, when they had the house with the red door, but this one was like all messed up, all jacked up. It wasn't like a nice, pretty house that horrible things happened inside. It was just a messed up house, and it was just like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, the overall special effects, the overall violence, the poor spiritual girl getting abused a little too much, but it was still fun to watch. The things I didn't like about it, some of the cinematography was a little bit too plain for such a disgusting movie. Like for some scenes, they were like shot too plainly. I kind of wanted to see a little bit more variety in the cinematography, but that's me. I'm kind of like I like when things look a certain way, and especially if they're telling a story and the way they show certain things. Like that scene in the bathroom, I thought was great, like extremely well done, well shot. When they got into the living room with the girls on the floor, when they were both all on the floor, I was like, oh, that could have been shot a little bit differently to be more interesting. And that whiny little kid, the whiny boyfriend, I mean, technically, if you took him out of the story, out of the movie, would the movie really would have been that different? Because you could have gave his lines to anyone else. Anyone else.
I mean, yeah, I could see that. But I think he was supposed
They could have had a dog. They could have had a dog. And the dog could have gone, roof. And that was the guy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
So for me, when it comes down to the pros and cons of this movie, for me a pro is actually the loop system, because I felt like that did a great job in placement for the butterfly effect when it came down to choices. So instead of the people having the choices, So when it came down to that, I loved that. The fact that the Wendigos, we didn't talk about one of the biggest monsters in the Until Dawn series. Like when they popped up, when they showed up on screen, it was scary, and it brought me back to the game.
Especially the big one,
frightful. Oh man, the
came out of nowhere. The big
one, and the chase down, and how they interact, and that one scene where she's hiding, and it's literally like right there. And that reminded me of how it was in the video game, where you had to keep the controller still because it's vibrating uncontrollably in your hand, and you have to hold it still so it doesn't. Because the thing with them is that they're not too good with sight. Their thing is hearing. You know what I mean? So the more you move, that's what they're focusing on. They're focusing on where you're moving. So you can stand right there, and they could be like right in front of you, and as long as you're quiet and you good, because they sense that something's there, they just don't know where it's at. And they're yelling to find out, wait, where is it at? And if you get scared, you go, oh, you done. You done. So I thought they did a good job on the Wendigos. I think they did a good job with the setup, like you called it, as far as using the loop. I think they should have paid off more rather, with how to figure out what's going on in the night. More clues. I felt like that to me was missing. Like they had me when they were pulling down the stuff and they said the wanted or missing sign. I was like, oh, they got me on that. They showed up at the gas station and he was telling them stuff. Like I was invested. But then once the loop started happening, I felt like now it's just survive the night at this point without finding any clues. Like they're just getting killed off without finding new information. I felt like every time they passed away, they should have left that day with new information. That's how I felt. Like that should have been like how the movie should have progressed, having new information.
They kind of did that, but they didn't really show it like the way you wanted. You know what I mean?
Right, they didn't. They you said, you're right. They kind of did it, but definitely not the way I wanted it. Like when she went outside and saw her sister and got her foot caught in a bear trap. I'm like, come on, we didn't learn anything from this night. This night was a dud. You know what I'm saying? Especially if somebody was sleuthed enough to understand that there's only a certain amount of names in this book. So that means you have to be careful with every night is precious because we don't know how long we got. Those are things I wish they'd done or done differently, rather. I wish they would have kept the alternate ending because I'm a fan of the alternate ending. Don't know how anybody else saw it. Check it out. I liked it. There are some inconsistencies in the film. One I pointed out with the gas station guy. Maybe somebody in the comment section will let us know. Maybe I missed something with that. But that to me was an inconsistency. Another inconsistency is that character is a psychiatrist in the game for one of the characters, and there was never any loop systems there. So how does this fit in continuity? Is it part of continuity? Is it something? Is he a psychiatrist that character met before, and that's just something that's subconsciously in his head? Because that's what it really was in the game.
Maybe in the movie that's his twin.
Oh man, okay. Anyway, because they both got the last name, which would be Hill, right? So okay. Yeah. Anyway, so again, as far as the film is concerned, I think what a lot of people who don't like the film generally don't like it because it's an Until Dawn and it doesn't have enough callbacks to the game, or it's nothing like the game because of the loop system and the night stuff that's happening, where it's more so the Wendigos being the main overall scheme of it, and the fact that it to some people feels like Cabin in the Woods. You know, they feel like I've seen this movie before. This is this is that. Yeah. And another side of the fence is people saying they would love this film, but don't like it being called Until Dawn. They felt like because it's not so loosely tied to the game that it should have been called a different film altogether. To me, I like it. I had a blast watching this film overall. Yeah. So I would recommend this for someone to watch.
Yeah, and I'll definitely recommend it if they like a horror, like a fun horror movie, definitely. If you're expecting the video game to be like retold, no,
right?
No, it's just not that. It's they'll take similar ideas, put into their own story with their own characters. I think they did good by it. They should have made it very clear. I mean, even when you saw the trailer, you knew it wasn't the video game,
right?
But they should have made like a separate announcement, like, "Hey, this is Until Dawn, in respects of the video game, and it's within that universe, so to speak, you know. And we're gonna make our own story, our own this, our own that, within the Until Dawn universe, or." What is it? Massive Games or something like that makes these games like this, and they have a new one coming out soon, a new game, and it's a space sci-fi one.
Bro, listen. After Until Dawn, The Quarry, I'm down for whatever they got next, as long as they keep to that same, not saying same formula, but the same style and the same energy and the same effort. And again, to everybody watching, I've never played The Quarry. I've never played Until Dawn. I've only seen gameplay, and I'm not one of them people to get too hyped over watching someone else's gameplay when it comes to a horror game. Like other games, I can watch people with horror games. I'll be like, because that ain't really my cup of tea when it comes to games. But this one, these games are made in such a way that it's like cinematic. You know what I mean? Like if you just watch it, it looked like you're watching a game film, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the platforms that you can play the game on, if you guys want to check out the game, PlayStation 5, 4, Xbox One, Series X, Series S, and PC now, I believe, right? They came out for the Quarry.
Quarry, the Quarry's on PC.
Yeah, so the developer is Supermassive Games. So I was almost there.
Yeah, it was
Supermassive Games. I was saying Massive Games, but yeah. So for the Quarry, for Until Dawn, the ones I also want to recommend. They haven't made movies yet of it, but I played at least 4 out of the 5 games. But the Dark Pictures anthology series, like Man of Medan. Man of Medan is like a ghost ship out in the middle of the water, and it's haunted. And you guys are you and a group of friends. A group of friends on a boat, and they're hanging out, and one is trying to get with one of the chicks, and the other one's trying to get with the other chick, and they're trying to be cool. And then you got the nerdy chick, you got the stupid the stupid jock guy, whatever, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, pirates come in the middle because they're in the Caribbean. Pirates come out, they try to rob them, and then they lead them to there's the abandoned tanker over here. Oh, we're gonna come with us. We're losing gas, so they get onto the ship. And it happens to be haunted because the ship is just a haunted mansion on the water.
Yeah,
that game is fire. Game is fire. Okay. There's the one that I played that you're in a town, a whole ghost town, almost like a Silent Hill type of scenario. But again, every decision you make, it depends on who lives and who dies. So you're on a bus trip with your school, and your teacher and everybody, they get into a minor crash, and the bus is stuck. The bus driver tries to go off into the town to try to find some help while you guys are kind of left in the road, like a mile or two away from the town. And they're like, hey, the bus driver hasn't come back after a few hours, and it's still dark outside. They shouldn't have the sun come up by now. And they start walking on the road, the foggy, midnight, moon-soaked road into the town. And the town, there's some crazy stuff going on in the town, and boom. And then this is the one that's coming out soon, bro. This is the one that I really want to get. It's called Directive 8020. This is the sci-fi.
Yes. We talked about that on one of our videos.
It was announced in one of the directs.
Right.
So I want to play this game so badly. So if whoever's editing this, put it up here. Directive 8020. So Directive 8020 is an upcoming interactive drama and survival horror video game developed and published by Supermassive Games. Is the fifth game in the Dark Pictures anthology. I played the first three. I have not played the fourth one. So I might pick up the fourth one when I find out. I think that's the one that switched back. Nope, it got delayed. Son of a... Anyway, we'll talk about that another time.
All right. So that's been us talking about the Until Dawn movie that is that comes from a video game called Until Dawn. If you haven't checked that game out, please do, especially if you are into mystery and horror and
survival horror and decision making.
It's definitely one of those games. Yes, decision making. It's definitely one of those games that once you start and you get into it, it's going to get your heart pumping. Because I think that game, why it's so good, because it's not overly horror. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just I feel like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and all these other games that I don't play, like they are overly horror. This one here is more like decision making, and are you going to live based on your decisions? Like that's the fear, because you don't know if your actions were the right one. Should I go this way or should I go that way? That in itself is scary.
the whole game is a gigantic puzzle,
right?
The entire game, game. The story is supposed to be the hints and clues. You're the piece in this in the game. And once you finally go throughout whatever the scenario is, a house, a boat, the town, or whatever, that's the actual board. So it's an actual gigantic puzzle game.
And the hardest part is to try to see if you can make everyone survive. You know what I'm saying? Like to keep everyone alive. That is hard because every decision you make, and sometimes you can make a decision based off of good old logic, and you think everything logically says that this is the right thing to do. And then sometimes you get caught out there, bro. I've seen it. Dope ass game. Ever get a chance, check out Until Dawn and The Quarry. All right.
There's one game before we end it. There's one game.
You want to take it away? You're gonna have to.
There's one game that I'm not gonna give the title, but it's part of the Supermassive family. You guys have to play it to figure it out. But there's one game that no matter what you do, no matter what decision you make, it's gonna be the wrong one. because in one thing, like you said, you got to keep everybody alive.
That's hard.
There's one that they realize, I guess, that they hey, some people figured out, in the other games, blah 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 blah. No, let's force them to choose. And on that note, go check out the Supermassive Games. Go check out Until Dawn, the movie. Go check out anything else. Leave in the comments below any video game type movie that you want us to watch, and we'll promise that we will watch it and also get Ivan to watch it because he fell asleep 2 hours ago. Right now, Ivan is like, I wanted to talk about that movie too.
He's gonna wake up at dawn.
So yes, go check out the movies, and I don't know. There's no outward line for the movies.
Not for movies, not yet.
Not yet. Don't watch crap.
We are talking about video game. We are talking about also related to video games. So with that being said,
that's very true.
Whether you love it
or whether you hate it,
play the games that you enjoy. That's right.
We'll Megabit Misfits on everything. Megabit Misfits on everything. Follow, like, subscribe, comment, bell notification. Okay, bye.